Hey, Dana here, and welcome to Searching for Behind the Scenes. All right, after yesterday's, practice dive in Loon Lake yesterday with the Robo, I had the issue of not enough air. I had the issue of not being able to inflate my BC. And let's see, what was the last? Just the fact that I didn't have enough, I guess main thing is I didn't have enough air. Well, what you see here is the freshwater hose. Now what I have installed on the boat is the saltwater hose. And I think what I should have done is went ahead and installed or used the freshwater, hooked the freshwater up to the saltwater hose. Because what happens is this hose here expands and it winds up being might consider a reserve tank, because this fills up and basically is a reserve. This fills up and it winds up being a reserve. And I'll show you that right now. Not supposed to run this out of the water, but it's not going to hurt it because I'm not running it that long. You don't want to have this on land or in your boat running while you're diving. You want this in the water because it's got to cool. It's got to cool that piston and keep that piston cool. Okay. And that also cuts down on moisture. So, like I said yesterday, I was having a problem with air. I didn't have enough to do what I really wanted to do. And that was because I was breathing direct air off the compressor. And this doesn't put out enough volume to do that. It has enough volume for one person if you're using the freshwater hose. And that's because of this. Take that back, take that off, and we'll go ahead and start it. Now watch the air hose. Okay, as you saw, see how the air hose filled up? Okay. Now, that winds up being reserve air. And it will, the minute I let pressure off of it, it's going to start up. So, with that said, yesterday, I couldn't get the BC to inflate. Well, I forgot that I had this female adapter, and it is a shutoff valve as well. And come to find out after the dive, I found this was off. So there was no air going to my BC. So my question was, I was thinking, well, man, I can't believe I don't have enough air. Well, I wouldn't have had enough air, but I should have had air going to the BC. So with all my adapters you saw me building up, I built one up that will go into this here, and then you have high flow here, and then the male adapter, American, and male adapter, Asian, China, industrial. So, to answer my question right away, let's see if it will inflate. That valve is now open and locked in the open position. So the minute I punch this button, the BC should inflate, and we'll see how it should. Let's see. Yep. You hear it? Okay, now we'll watch the hose retract, and we'll see how soon. Okay, just a little bit of air out of that, and now the robo comes back up, fills up that air hose again. So there's your reserve. That might have taken care of my lack of air had I used this one. Just hooked it onto the surface air, or the surface air salt water hose. Now with that salt water hose, gonna have to have a reserve tank to do that. Might even be able to go the opposite direction and put the surface air, hook up this freshwater hose to that saltwater hose. This would be the reserve. The only problem is it's going to fill up. This shouldn't really be in the salt water. This is going to fill up on the boat and get all over the place and stuff like that. The bigger units, the 819, this being the 619 unit. Yeah. As you can see, I'm charging the battery again. Yeah, there we go. She's the 519 model. The 619, I think they got, and then it jumps to an 819, and then they got a 919. Those units there are bigger. They'll supply 62 liters a minute, 82 a minute, and I think the bigger one, the big one, I think puts out 104 liters a minute. Those by themselves, I think are enough to supply with just themselves on a saltwater unit. But I do notice on the page that those units there do have a little small air tank attached. So that's what I'm looking at next, is getting one with the air tank attached to it. So with this unit here, with the freshwater hose, again, I could probably attach this to my rig, my boat air line, and that would supply that extra air. So those are some questions I got coming up. But that solved my problem with the filling my BC. Right there, that's more than enough air to get to the surface. And it looks like it's going to fill it. It'll fill it completely. Yeah. So that's more than enough. Let's see if there's enough air to make the valve, let the excess air out. Let's get. See if it'll overfill it. Yep, can you hear the air? Oh, let this fill up a little bit. Okay. Now when I push this, you'll hear air going out of the BC. So as you can see, it does have enough air to fill that BC completely up. And then you have your excess air on top. So that solves that problem. And then the other issue is the air supply to me. The nice thing about a full-faced mask is the fact that you have air constantly being flowed into the mask, and it's keeping your lens clear, and it's also keeping water out of your mask. So that solves those mysteries. So thanks for watching. If you like, please give me a thumbs up, share, and subscribe. And there will be a link in the description on the AquaRobos. So check them out. This is the new, as far as I'm concerned, this is the new way to dive. I'm getting too old to have a freaking big tank on my back. There are a few issues with that, is because if you're going to be doing any diving in rivers, you have to deal with the current, and also in the ocean, you need to you'll have to deal with the tides. So with that said, okay, I just wanted to see that air hose is full right now, and I've got the robo off. I just want to see how much reserve air, pressure air, is actually in it. I believe this is 35 pounds of air in here, from what I remember. This vest is over 30 years old, because I got it back. This was one of my first vests when I started diving, probably back in, I got my certification in 76. So probably 78, maybe 80 is when I got this vest. My mother bought me one. It was a U.S. Divers vest way back. It was my first, and I don't know where it went to, but all right, anyway, let me go ahead and I'm going to hit this, and we'll see how much reserve air is actually in that hose. That's definitely enough air to get you to the surface right now. The hose is scrambling up like a snake. Sucking all that air out of that hose. And that's it. And that is more. That's more than enough to get you to the surface. So that's how much air is in here. And as an emergency situation, this is set up that you push this button and then you can suck that air right out of here, just as an emergency, enough air to get you to the surface if you have to. So that was built like that. It's not going to do you much good with a full face, but anyway. And another thing with your vest, when you're done diving, flip it upside down. So, and then play with it, and then make sure you get it upside down so your water is at the lowest point inside here. You'll get it in here, and you also get it on your backup relief valve. And then go ahead and open your valves and spray that water out of there. This is one of those that actually has an inside bladder, where most of your new ones do not. They're just as part of the, just like the dry suit material. And so, all right, thank you. Thanks for watching. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe, share, and we'll catch you on the next Searching for It Behind the Scenes. And this will also be in my scuba playlist.